if you are watching this, I am currently at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Yes, friends, I am finally going to the headwaters of the bad progressive ideas that have flowed directly into our country over the last 9.5 years. When Klaus Schwab said he penetrated cabinets around the world, boy, did he ever give it to us. Because we had Justin Trudeau, who is basically a puppet of brighter people, although he is just a empty progressive shell. You could put whatever progressive idea inside of him and he would just barf it out the other side, multiculturalism, post-nationalism, feminism, all that stuff. That was Justin Trudeau, but all those ideas, they weren't his. Do you think he has any brain cells to rub together to create a bad idea? He just soaks up other people's like a sponge. And by and large, the other people's ideas came from the World Economic Forum. We know that Chrystia Freeland, who was for so long Justin Trudeau's right-hand woman while she's on the board of directors at the World Economic Forum, and then Mark Carney, also vying to replace Justin Trudeau. He was a longtime attendee at the World Economic Forum. He is a bankster with the Bank of Canada, Bank of England, Goldman Sachs, and then he went on to the United Nations where he engaged in debanking large-scale energy projects. So there's that. Oh, he's also been Justin Trudeau's chief advisor on his COVID overspending, and then more recently his just general economic overspending, which has caused an inflationary crisis here in Canada. So that's where I am. But because I am gone and I owe our viewers a show every single week, it's not your problem I'm gone. I put a call out asking you guys what you thought. So you sent me a pile of emails, and I thought I'd go through them with you today. Sound good? Let's get right into it. All right. First one from Patrick Dennis L. Sears. says, Sheila, I believe I posted on the day that Trudeau removed Freeland from cabinet that it was all a setup to enable Freeland to play the victim and thus begin her trail to the Liberal leadership. Oh, you think Trudeau is playing 3D chess or 4D chess? I don't know. Again, I don't think he's that smart, and although I think she might be that cunning. I also, about the same time as he said he was going to step down, with crocodilian tears, the husband and fellow leftist Mark Carney would also enter the race. That Freeland is far more intelligent than Carney is not even debatable. I don't think that. But Carney has the deep staters behind him. Having said that, I think Freeland will come out on top. Do you? Of course, they in the NDP will play the boogeyman card of Trump, already happening, to persuade Eastern voters who share a dislike for anything American, and they'll eat it up, which in the general election will cause Poilievre some grief, but he will still win. From your lips to God's ears. Keep up the good reportage, Sheila. Only Rebel News and the Western Standard are worthy of a reader's time. Well, thank you so much. Perhaps the Toronto Sun on given days. Look, we love Joe Warmington. And then Patrick sends me his email. Lauren J. Fortune says, I have a very bad feeling that Carney will win the election. Do you think? I don't know. I think it comes down to conservative messaging. I hope I'm wrong, but I live in Toronto. I'm surrounded by woke communists. Take care, Lauren. I feel for you. I'm not sure, though, because of all the places in this country hit by the affordability crisis, the worst, I think, would be Vancouver and Toronto. Like, you can't get a shanty in Toronto for the cost of my entire farm here in Alberta. It's astounding. I don't know how young people make a go of it in Toronto. I don't know how young people think that they are going to have a family, maybe have a vacation, have a car in Toronto. I don't know how it's done. And then have a little bit of money left over for savings or fun. I just don't know. So I think the Conservatives must communicate to the rest of the country those bad ideas that Trudeau forced upon us that led to our affordability crisis, the carbon tax, overspending, driving inflation, driving our dollar down, not able to get pipelines built, which robs the government of revenue, all those things. Oh, yeah, and the immigration crisis that has driven down wages and up the cost of housing and puts a burden on our healthcare system. Those were Mark Carney's ideas. Those were Chrystia Freeland's ideas by way of Mark Carney. So they have to do a really good job of reminding people that Mark Carney is not different. In fact, he's the brain trust that got us into these problems. And how is he to fix them? Right? Like he's got the Kamala Harris problem. How do you be the person to fix the damage done to the country if you're the person who did it? Right? So I hope you're wrong. I think the Conservatives have already started communicating that, that carbon tax that's crushing you, that's Carney's. The overspending that is driving up inflation and driving down the dollar, Carney. Val says, I don't believe any of the Liberals will be able to fix Canada's issues. I believe all of the Liberals played a major part in this mess we're in. We need to clear the House. Yes, exactly. And I think Canadian voters feel that way too. I think at the end of the day, it's the same issue in Canada as was in the United States in the election we just watched. Are you better off today than you were 9 years ago or 4 years ago or 2021? And I think Canadians by and large are not. There are very few well-connected people and government employees could be better off, but the rest of us who pay for those people, we're not. Our dollar is collapsing. We're in tariff and trade wars because nobody knows how to behave themselves and act diplomatically with the incoming American administration. They're just all prickly and fighty. Apparently it's patriotism to burn down your economy. That's what they're telling Alberta. Even though we provide roughly 550,000 jobs to the rest of the country, the Liberals are doing that. And I think I don't think the Liberals can get around that problem. You did this to us. You should not be allowed to fix it. Marie says, none of Trudeau's clowns, oops, my apologies, clones, will make any difference. I don't think you're sincere in your apology. They will only continue on with Trudeau's plans. They are a selfish, condescending government. You better believe that. Alberta's finding that out right now. We need an election ASAP and elect the Conservatives in order to save this country, which continues to go downhill at a faster rate every day this gong show is in office. Thank you. Yeah, I believe that too. I think, especially with this tariff war coming from the United States, we have somebody who is thinking he should be the point man for the issue, Justin Trudeau, who is not running again in the next election, has resigned as a prime minister, but we're in the middle of a long goodbye, and the Liberals are in the middle of a leadership race. Nobody has a mandate to deal with Trump. Could we call an election? The Liberals can sort out their BS after. That's not their issues with their leadership. That's not the country's problem. And the country is headed for crisis as I'm recording this in 3 days, because I'm recording this on the 17th. All right. Bill says, the Liberal Party has put Canada on hold while they try to reorganize. They should be completely removed from the political landscape in Canada. How does our governing documents allow this? Well, it is a quirk of the parliamentary democracy system that by default, the leader of the party with the most seats is the prime minister. And that person actually doesn't even have to be an MP. Trudeau was quick to state we have no national identity. Exactly. So why is he so concerned about Donald J. Trump fixing this train wreck? They are pretty quick to steer away from the illegals coming across the U.S. border with the thoughts of terrorism. Trudeau and the Liberals should be sued for every nickel they have coerced from this country and be tried for crimes against humanity. You know what? I think the best we can do is just unelect them and not let these people near the levers of power ever again. Now, I'm an Albertan. We will never let them near the levers of power if we have our way. But the way things work, it's not up to us. I find it fascinating, however, that the rest of the country is just figuring out how unfair the Westminster parliamentary democracy system can be. Albertans have known this for a long time. For us, so often the election is over by the time the votes are cast in Toronto. We can vote Conservative so deeply blue that we cannot vote Conservative any harder. Some of our ridings are coming back like 80% Conservative. And we still get saddled from, Winnipeg west to the lower mainland of British Columbia. We're blue. But we are governed by Liberals. And that's a quirk of the parliamentary system that we have been forced to live with for a very long time. And now this is another quirk of our system.